the grace of God I am here. You will see my life story, the photos there, and you will understand what I am saying. I was a person, cried several times to Allah, I want to kill Christians. I want to kill Jews. I want to glorify your name. You know, with my friends in the government in Iran, we planned a lot of things, evil things for Christian world, cruel things for Jewish world, deceiving plans for black world. But by the grace of God, I am here, speaking for the glory of His name. Once trying to destroy the church, but now I'm trying to establish the church of God, strengthen it, and cherish my love toward all other nations, including Muslims and Jews. I've come from the country Iran. I've got some photos to show you. How is that going to come there? From this country, from the northern part of this country, from this section, was born in a nominal Islamic family. Many Muslims are nominal. They do not know Islam, but simply they call themselves Muslim. My parents picked me up from, amongst the 12 children of the house because I was quicker in learning. And so they nominated me to be the religious boy in the family. And they invested in my life. I learned very quickly the Arabic, reading of it and reciting the Quran, reading the Quran in Arabic. That's not the Iranian language. At the age of 9, I became famous. People even called me to their, religious ceremonies, and I recited the Quran for them. You imagine a 9-year-old boy. We learned from childhood that Christians and Jews are unclean. That's written in the Quran. We learned from the mosque and from the community, don't touch them. If you see them, don't shake hands with them, because they're unclean, and then you become unclean. You need to rush and wash yourself. Before washing yourself, don't touch any Muslim. You make them unclean too. Now, this is not unclean. That doesn't mean you haven't made, taken shower. That's unclean spiritually. They are not humankind. We also use this, especially from the area I'm coming from. People use these two words Christian and Jew, as swear words. Two Muslims fight with each other. They call each other Christian or Jew. Iranian government with Saddam's government did that 8 years. Iranian government was calling Saddam a Jew in the war, and Saddam was calling Iranian government a Jew. So that's the mindset of people. You're brainwashed from childhood that they are not humankind and they deserve to die, and you do not feel for them, unfortunately. I am coming from there, and I glorify His name, that He changed my life and my family's life. I have stories with Him. That's not my work to come to Him. He has really brought me. I have stories with Him from since I was a young lad, from the year 7. I was 12 years old. My first story started with Jesus. One day in our sports hour, we were playing in the playground of the school. 7 boys got together, trying to play with each other, trying to find also a game to play with each other. One of the boys said, I know a game. He took a paper from his notebook, divided in 7, went in a corner, wrote something inside each, folded them, rolled them very well, and came to us and mixed them very well. He said, this is the game. Each one was going to take one and open in turn. The things written inside each, he said, shows our future. So we each took one, and then we were fighting with each other who should be the first, second, third, or the last one. Some of us were fighting to be the last one, but I succeeded. I was the seventh one. We were in year 7, 7 boys. I was the seventh one opened it. The first one opened, there was written, "You'll become a teacher." We tried to make our time fun with each other, jumped, clapped, showed excitement. The other one, "You'll become a mayor." The other one, "You'll become an engineer or army officer." At the end, I opened mine, there was written, "You'll become a Christian." No fun anymore. I was embarrassed. I was more religious than them, full of shame, angry. My face changed. And I said, I have to go and kill this boy. I attacked him. He screamed. I said, "I'm going to kill you. Why did you write this for me?" He was crying. He said to me, "Did I write that for you? You didn't see I mixed them very well? I could have taken that. It's your problem. It's your future. You're blaming me." He was right. He didn't put in my hand. He was right. And for that reason, I didn't kill him. But I did not play with them anymore. I went and found a corner, sat there, cried and wept. Cried to Allah, complained to him that you embarrassed me in front of this boy. So that was my first story. I finished my high school, entered university. In the university, I became a radical Muslim, followed Ayatollah Khomeini. Ayatollah in that time was in Iraq because he was Shiite and Saddam Sunni. They didn't like each other. Saddam forced him out and he went to France. Unfortunately, France welcomed him very warmly. And Western countries, oh my goodness, you need to wake up really. Because they were going to use him as a shield in front of the Russian communism, but they didn't know that Islam doesn't let anyone to become a sincere friend with you. There are ample of verses in the Quran that say, don't become friends with Christians and Jews. So, through their help, we didn't know that. We thought that's a miracle of Allah. And through his guidance, we overthrow the most powerful king in the Middle East. And the king escaped. We captured the country. Ayatollah entered the country. In that day, I cried. With many other students, we were so excited. We said, we are going to have freedom and democracy because Ayatollah promised us Islam, when we come there and rule the country, we will have democracy. He was lying to 70 million people. Well, Islam says, if it is necessary, you can lie to 70 billion people, to all the world, until you get, to the power. We didn't know that zealous Muslims, young people, I was reading the Quran from the beginning to the end without understanding what Quran is saying. Because it's in Arabic. You just get the blessing when you recite it in Arabic. We were so excited. Ayatollah entered in the second week with my group. We went and welcomed him very warmly. This is the photo I have taken from him. He's sitting here. We committed ourselves to him in that day, promised him to make every single Iranian radical Muslim and to take Islam to the end of the world. After that, because I was a famous boy, I was invited with 2 others to start a revolutionary army. This is me here. Now, have you heard about the word Hezbollah? This is the word produced in Iran first. We were Hezbollah. We wanted, Hezbollah means the party of Allah, the hosts of Allah. And we were called to start the revolutionary army. The major goal of the revolutionary army was to go and capture Israel, to make Israel as a capital state for all Islamic world, and with that to attract the attention of wide spectrum Muslim in the world and say to them, you have to start from wherever you are to fight against Christians and Jews. To do that, we needed to establish our army in a country nearby. So we started Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iranian started Hezbollah there. Iranian paid now to Hezbollah. Hezbollah's boss is in Iran, Hezbollah in Lebanon. And so that was one of the major goals of this army. That's me again there. This is me here praying in a mountainside, Islamic prayer. 3 boys are following me in that prayer. You see 2 boys are sitting there. They are moderate Muslims. We were trying to make them radical in 5 or 10 minutes. Many people think, wow, this radical Muslim, I've studied a lot. Now just I think every Muslim from childhood learns how to be anti-Christian, anti-Jew. So they have to some extent. And then you need really to work a little bit, to make them radical, especially when they live in an environment that's full of radical Muslims there. And mountain also is so important for committed radical Muslim. You have heard so far many times that Osama bin Laden is in mountain, Taliban is in mountainous area. Even those 4 boys who were involved in suicide bombing in England, they just came from mountain. You remember that? Because it's important. Mountain is, is a place you can speak freely there and you can hide yourself there. After that, I became involved with mobilizing young boys and girls for our second major goal. That's my photo there. There just photos shows 3 of us there. Our second major goal was to destroy America. To do that, we needed to mobilize all our young boys and girls. Why America? Because America is a superpower Christian country in the world. That's embarrassing to Islam. A Christian country superpower, Islam is going to be superpower. Islam should be. America has millions of Jews unbearable to Islam. America has many, army agreements with many countries, including Australia, helping many countries. If you destroy America, then it's easier to capture other countries. They spend billions of dollars, over America. So for that reason, we attracted the attention of many young boys and girls and took them to the army camp and taught them the terrorist techniques in the future to send them as students or through different channels to Western countries and especially America to fulfill our goals. This is my wife. She was also a radical Muslim, a fiery girl. I said, wow, this is mine. Because every leader who thirsts for the blood of others should have really such a lady, to fight side by side. So for the same interest, we got married. This is her and also 2 other girls that are learning that rifle, how to use it. Our marriage was held in the mosque. That's not popular in the Middle East. We did that for the sake of Islam. We wanted really to bring the culture of Muhammad to our time. Mosque should be the center of everything. You have to teach your followers. Especially 2 important things should be in the mosque, start from the mosque. First one is jihad, fighting against non-Muslims. That's a center, a fortified center for Muslims. Not many Muslims really go to mosque for that reason, but the leaders know that. And the committed radical Muslims know that this is the place for us. In the future, we will kill these people if they do not become Muslim. I think I don't need to teach you. You see from Iraq, even Shiites and Sunnis are killing each other that start from the mosque. They killed the people in Indonesia. Just clergy spoke in the mosque and they went out and killed. Just, 2 years ago, they were going to kill 4 Christian girls. One of them survived. Just started from the mosque. So for that reason, that was, the major reason, one of the major reasons. The second one involves non-Islamic countries. In the Quran is written, world is yours to Muslims, even the land you haven't put your step in. Chapter 33, verse 27. In Islamic doctrine also, You have to prove that this country is mine. You have to build your mosque there. According to Islamic doctrine, if you build a mosque in a country, that country after that is an Islamic country. So is there any mosque in Australia? Well, Islam says it's not yours. Also, you're not a true citizen of this country. You're a second-class citizen. When Islam comes and rules this country, and then you have to buy your life and your family's life every year in order to survive, according to the Quran chapter 9. I'm not here to frighten you. I'm here to encourage you that if you, the follower of Jesus Christ, you need to claim this country for the Lord Jesus Christ, because He is good. You claim everything for good thing, and He is the best. It's so good to hand over this country to Jesus rather than to Muhammad. So that was our goal. That for that reason, we invited them to come to the church, to the mosque, to our wedding. Now, this is our marriage day. Do you see any smile on their faces? Now, Islam is the religion of anger. I'm not talking about Muslims again. You better go and read the Quran. It's easier now. Just go to the internet, download, click there, killing verses or hatred. You will find plenty. It's just the opposite to the face of Christ. The greatest mark of Islam is anger. The greatest mark of Jesus is joy, love. That's why we needed to teach seriousness, authoritarian spirit, leadership to our followers. There was a subject called angry subject. I was the teacher of that angry subject to my followers. How to become angry. How to hate. Do you think it's easy to cut the head of a person? You teach them gradually. And then they kill. For that reason, so that's why we are not smiling there. After our marriage, see my face there? My daughter is 5.5 years old here. That's why she's not covered like my wife. You cover your daughters as a committed Muslim from the age of 7, because the age of 7 is the age of marriage in Islam. That's why you younger girl need to praise the Lord Jesus Christ. He is so good. At 25 years, I have studied all other philosophies and religions. He is so good. Every day you need to say, Jesus, I love you, I praise your name. One of Muhammad's wife was 6 years old, Aisha. She has got a lot of writings, actually, in Islamic writing. And Muhammad was 49 years old. And Islamic tradition says she was consummated at the age of 8 or 9. You're 8 or 9. That's why she's not covered. My family, myself, this photo was everywhere in my hometown, because I was, in the second year, I became the leader of the political party, influential politician, announced my candidacy for Islamic Parliament. But this time we were oppositions to Ayatollah. Because till the second year, we discovered that whatever this man said to Iranian was lie. And then he said, and others said, that was for the sake of Islam. Now, okay, you said we will have freedom. We are not going to give this freedom to Jews, Christians, or Zoroastrians. We are your Muslim brothers. Now it doesn't work. You have to blindly now follow the leader, even as a Muslim. It's hard for Iranian. Iranians are the most open Muslims in the world. Now, that's not because I have come from Iran, because my doctorate is about culture, cultural differences. We said, no, we want freedom. We won. My colleague became the president of the country with 98% of people's vote. The first president after the Islamic Revolution. For government fell in our hand, but that angered Ayatollah and especially his clergy friends. First, in secret, they started to kill the members and oppositions. 3 times they sent rockets to the living place of president, and eventually president escaped from Iran. Government was, destroyed. Some of us were able to escape, some were killed. I was one of them, kidnapped in nighttime, put in a dead cell. It was a toilet. I lived first 3 months in a toilet. Painful prison. In that prison, you beg them to kill you. I don't know you really believe me or not. Because they do not kill you once. Unfortunately, you have to enjoy by giving pain to your opposition and to your enemies. Especially if you're a girl, opposition, and when you get a death penalty, that's so pain for you and for your family. To kill a virgin girl is sin. You have to sleep with her first and then kill her. Now the pain is after that, because in Islam is a religion of fear. You have to frighten every member of the family. That's why they're trying to frighten the world. And unfortunately, many Western people are afraid. Unfortunately, sadly. After killing that girl, you take the dress of that girl. That's your religious obligation. You need to do that. And you go and talk to her mom. You knock the door. I want to talk to this girl, mom. Mom comes there. You say, your girl was mine. I slept with her. We killed her. And this is the dress of your daughter. They broke the heart of many Iranian mothers. Were they Jews, Christians, or Zoroastrians? No, Muslims. Islam, my friend, is a cruel religion. Even this slaughters Muslims. Many Muslims are here, even in this country. In other countries, they do not know that. When these leaders get to the power, they will kill first their own followers. Iranian government, Iranian system killed between 50 to 60,000 only young Iranian girls and boys. That's the prison I'm talking about. They shock you really with, immoral words. They kidnapped me with my pajamas, I'm sorry, they were just, looking inside on my body and saying to me, who is going to sleep with your wife tonight? Because outside they show themselves righteous. Iranians really do not think that these people are rude that much. And they were 2. One of them said, well, he's going to finish. It's you and me. That's the prison. From there, they took me to another prison with my 4 other friends. We were waiting in the death row with 4 other friends in a cell. All 4 were killed, and I could escape by the grace of God. It's a long story. It's a painful story too. If I say that to you, this section takes 1.5 hours. But I just simply say to you, by the grace of Jesus, I could escape, even though I didn't know him. But he had a plan for me. You remember that ballad? And I have other stories, other prophecies, even Muslims prophesied. So I could escape the death penalty and from the country Iran to Turkey. In Turkey, I was a wandering man. I didn't know about my future. I started to learn the language and I entered university to make myself busy. In the 2nd year, I found a fellow Iranian man. He had business there. We became friends with each other. After a while, he invited me to put my money with his make the capital larger. I did. But later, my friend took all my money and he escaped to Germany. Another pain came to my life. I couldn't do anything because everything was written in his name. Now, he was going to a church there. He was not a Christian, he was Muslim. There was an Iranian Christian fellowship in Istanbul, in Turkey. Those Christians who were not able to live inside the country Iran. After the Islamic Revolution, they escaped and they went to Turkey, and with some other foreign friends, American and European, they started the fellowship, and they having fellowship with each other and also working among Iranian refugees. They built friendship with many, and this man was one of them. He was going to that church sometimes. That caused me to go to that church, to ask them why this happened to me. This man was coming here. He was my friend. He took all my money and escaped. For the first time in my life, I'm going to a church. Challenging and scary. But challenging because church is an unclean place. Scary is was the strongest part. Now, I have escaped from the death penalty. Now I'm going to create another one for myself. Especially a politician like me, why you're going to a church? And especially in that area, there were very committed Muslim Turks there. Anyway, my money encouraged me to go in. I entered the church, I was shocked. People were playing music and they were singing inside the church. Music is evil in Islam. You remember just last year, the Muslim leader here in Australia said to the Muslim, withdraw your children from music class because it's evil. I was shocked. Now everybody was standing and singing. I said, I'm not going to stand to share this evil spirit with them. That's not Iranian really, they stand with you. But I was afraid to stand with them. I said, no, I'm going to sit. I sat behind everybody closer to the main door. I said, it's good to sit here. If something strange happens, easier to run out. That's again is the mindset of committed Muslim and radical Muslim. You think that they are united with each other. Only fear is bringing them together. Uncertainty is everywhere there. Anyway, nothing happened inside the church. After the fellowship, they came and welcomed me very warmly. I said their story to them. They became so sad that I had lost the big money to a man who was sometimes going to that church. They promised me to help me. We can help you, they said. We have many friends in Germany.